Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Colin Stuckert here, founder, Wild Foods Co. Today's video I'm excited about because this is something that directs my entire life. It's something that Wild Foods is based on. It's how I live my everyday. These ideas are what I use to form the foundation of my health and lifestyle plan. And they are based on the first principles of human health and nutrition, based on where we came from, where our ancestors lived, and how humans are designed by nature for nature. So these are going to be some of the top principles that form the first principles, meaning the foundations of health and wellness for the human animal. We're going to talk about exactly how an ancestral point of view directs them, and then we're going to get into the specific recommendations for each one. Stay tuned. An ancestral point of view is based on how humans have lived in the wild for hundreds of thousands of years, and then primate evolution for millions of years before then. Since the advent of agriculture, humans have moved into cities, and that is a result of getting our food from a fixed area instead of being nomadic hunter-gatherers that would wander through the wilderness and move camps with the seasons, following game, things like that. When humans moved to become farmers, there was a lot of issues. But the flip side is that allowed us to have an explosion in human population because we could form cities and people could specialize in their trades and their skills, and humans just kind of traded the unknowingness of nature. And even though, nature provided all we needed, and living as nomadic hunter-gatherers, a lot of anthropologists have observed that they were actually lived, easier lives, more carefree, less of the issues and malnutrition that you get from a farming lifestyle and from a city lifestyle. There's a lot of reasons why this is. Some scientists actually hypothesize that it was because we had access to alcohol, because we had to grow hops and grains and things like that to make certain alcohols. And so we kind of traded in the nomadic lifestyle for a farming lifestyle, even though a farming lifestyle was much more difficult. Farmers suffered from more malnutrition, more issues. They had to work more hours throughout the year to produce even less food and less variety of food, which caused a lot of nutrition imbalances than their hunter-gatherer forebears. Now, going down the rabbit hole, farming is a big thing. I'm not going to do that today. Instead, we're going to focus on the ancestral principles, okay? Since humans, and this is the basic thesis, since humans have lived in the wild and have been forged by Mother Nature herself as a result of living in the wild, our biology has not caught up to modern farming and city life, which is why you see the massive humans are devolving. We have, a 50, 60% obesity rate, and even higher weight of overweight Americans, and all modern industrialized societies are following the same trend of, a life of convenience, a life of fast, quick processed food, and then just all the issues that come with all the technology we have. We basically remove the wild from our life, and as a result, we are paying the price. Today's video is about how to reverse that trend. Just because you live in a modern world doesn't mean you can't take the principles of human health, of the things that make a human being, the human animal, healthy, and apply those to your modern life. That is the purpose, and that is what Wild Foods is based on. It's what we believe. It's how I live my life. It's why I'm going to live to be 150 plus years old, and why you can too. If you take modern technology and you combine it with the principles of what makes you the human animal that you are, you have the best template for living a very long time while also being healthy and happy the whole time. That is the basis of the ancestral point of view. It's based on trying to understand, how did our ancestors live? What was their average day like? When they were in the wild, when they were hunting for food, foraging, were they moving a lot? When they were, building things, when they were collaborating with their small tribe of other humans in the close-knit communities, which we know humans evolved in, what did that look like? And how is our current environment mismatched to that? So what we can do is then take our current environment and change the way we do things to match the way our ancestors did do the things that made them the fast, lean, agile, not fat, I should say, the opposite of fat, lean, muscular, strong, apex hunters, apex predator that they were. How can we get back to that state? By trying to do the things they did in our modern world, while enjoying running water, iPhones, and modern medicine. Let's start with number one. So number one isn't necessarily the most important thing, but it is a very, very important thing. And it is getting sunlight and getting natural vitamin D as a result of being in the sun. Humans evolved in the wild. There was sun. We were outside. We interacted with nature. And so getting outside, getting sun exposure, walking barefoot, listening to the birds chirp, getting in nature in general is going to do wonders for your health. And there's a lot of research around this beyond just the vitamin D aspect. They've proven that just being in nature, just disconnecting, hearing birds, hearing the wind rustle the leaves, things like that, those all provide a positive mental effect on the human psyche, because that's where we evolved. That's where we're designed to be. Yet instead we go into these man-made boxes where there's no sound. Like right now, no sound. Or even worse, sound pollution from the cars that I can hear on the street constantly going back and forth. There's no nature whatsoever in this environment right now. Getting outside / getting into nature on a regular basis, ideally on a daily basis, is number one. Number two is to move often. Our ancestors walked an average of 13 miles a day. Some speculate as much as 15 miles a day. They would move at a slow to medium pace. They would step up, down, over, left, right, crawl, climb, do all the things that you had to do in a jungle, natural, wild wilderness environment. Yet humans today sit in our car or sit here and walk somewhere maybe. Then we take the escalator instead of the stairs, or the elevator. Then we sit all day. Then we get up. We go back to our mass transit system or whatever that happens to be, and then we go home and we lay down and we watch. The amount of movement that we are lacking that is natural to our species is absolutely mind-boggling. So the number one thing you can do is to move more, right? Take breaks when you're working. Try standing and or movement style desks, or like a treadmill desk, or even this thing I got that you can stand on that kind of moves you just a little bit, so that when you're working, you're not in a fixed position for long periods of time. The more you can move, the better, because that is what you are. You are a movement-based animal. Move. Number three is the big one, the big part of my message in the Wild Foods of what we do. It is eat real food as close to nature as possible. I've recorded a lot of videos on this, so I won't spend a ton of time, but it basically means the more a food is removed from nature, put into a machine, a box, shipped, transported, stored, whatever, the more that man touches and interacts with an ingredient, the worse it's going to be for you. And when you buy products that have multiple ingredients that all have been touched by man in some way, it's even worse for you, which is what you get with processed food. Processed food, restaurant food, these foods are not natural to the human species. Buying raw, organic, real foods from the local farmer's market and then bringing it home and chopping it up, cooking it up, whatever, that is going to be the number one way. This is actually the number one way that you can get back to nature and that you can really get closer to every goal you can possibly imagine. Real food can absolutely solve disease. It can cure you. There's just so many examples of this. It is the most powerful thing. So if there was one thing you took away from this video, go more real food. Stop eating at restaurants. Stop eating out of a box. Buy foods that go bad if you leave it on the counter. Buy real, raw, natural ingredients and then cook it up. Eat it raw sometimes, cook it sometimes. Use a lot of wild pink salt. Just reap the benefit of living more in aligned with your genes, because our ancestors only ate foods that were found in the wild that they had to hunt, forage, and process themselves. Yet today, almost nobody does that. And as a result, we're paying the price. Next up is something we all like to do, but we are getting worse at it, surprisingly, with all this technology that has us connected all the time. Be social. There's a lot of research here. They've proven through a lot of this research that being social through a computer or technology like this is not the same as being social in person. When you are literally face to face with someone and you're interacting with them, talking with them, maybe even debating them, and feeling their presence and sensing all the different mannerisms and things, and just being in the moment with that person or with people. They're miles different. In fact, I don't even think they're in the same category, okay? You need to spend time with people you care about on a regular basis for your health and longevity. Ideally, you would have your phone away. You wouldn't be just laying down watching TV or whatever, but actually just being in the moment, talking, interacting. Even gossip is natural to our species. I don't really recommend you do that because it's negative, but just shooting the shit. Do that on a regular basis with nothing distracting you. So put your phone away. And that's going to have a huge benefit for you and for your health and for your relationships. Something important for every human that most people don't understand why it is having a purpose. Now, why would having a purpose and feeling important be a survival skill in the wild? Why would Mother Nature have designed that into our species? Because humans evolved and moved to the top of the food chain through group survival. Humans had to work together to increase the chances of survival. In doing so, it's how our brains grew big. It's how we were able to move to the top of the food chain. And it's how we've been able to eventually create cities and money and writing and language and art and all these things. If you don't have a purpose that feels like you're contributing to the tribe, you're going to get mental angst. It's a mental maladaptation because any human, 100,000 years ago that wasn't contributing to the group, that wasn't needed or had a purpose or that could provide in some way, whether it's safety or it could make people laugh or they could be cared for or whatever. Like if you don't have a purpose to the people around you, to a group, you are severely lacking and it's going to sap your happiness. And there's tons of research around depression and around things like this about people that isolate themselves and how it just ruins their brain and it ruins their happiness. And there's a reason for that. Mother Nature programmed us to work together. If we don't work well with other humans, we don't survive as a group. So it's a group survival adaptation. Use it to your advantage by figuring out what is your purpose. What do you contribute to your group or to the world or to your work or whatever it is? And then do a lot of that on a daily basis. This one is a big one because in our on-the-go, on-demand, grinding, get work done world we live in, people don't sleep enough. Or they sleep with phones in the room, electronics in the room, and all these EMF and all this nonsense that is basically attacking their biology, disrupting their sleep, ruining REM sleep, and things like that. Sleep in a pitch black room for as long as your body needs. Now, I don't set an alarm. I go to sleep and I wake up when my body tells me to wake up. I have the luxury. I set my own schedule. Not everyone can do that, but what you can do is you can go to bed earlier and you can keep your body in bed for as long as it takes for you to recuperate. That might not be sleeping the entire time. That might mean you have to lay in bed for an hour in the morning just because you need a little bit more rest, but you can't fall back asleep. Whatever it is, do that. Invest in blackout curtains. Invest in a time machine right here. Remove all the lights and plugged in electronics in your room. In fact, it's best, even if you have a TV in your room, which I don't recommend, put on a power strip so you can turn the power strip off at night. You want to avoid and eliminate all blue light. So even a little light that's on the TV that shows this in like standby mode or whatever can disrupt your sleep by disrupting your biology. Light therapy and exposure to light is a whole big thing. That's why number one is getting sun exposure. There's a whole spectrum of lights that our body's supposed to get naturally. And so when you get artificial light, there's issues that can cause. Your body misinterprets it as like being awake during the day. A lot of issues with this. Another tip for this is to make sure you turn off all electronics and don't watch TV or your phone within 2 hours of going to sleep, or even 1 hour of going to sleep is better than nothing. If you're on your phone up until the last second you're falling asleep, you're going to have a lot of issues with your sleep being disrupted, and you're going to have issues with getting into REM sleep and all that because of the stimulating nature of these blue lights that get into your eyes and your brain and they affect your biology. All right, so sleep as much as your body requires in a pitch black room, ideally for as long as it takes. And the last one was covered a little bit earlier. It's basically spend as much time in nature as possible. Go on walks, walk barefoot, go outside, walk on the trail in the woods, do things like this on a regular basis. The more you can put your body into nature and get it out of this artificial man-made environment, the more you can turn your phone off, turn the screens off, and just spend your time in your natural environment, which is the same natural environment for all the other animals in the wild. Mother Nature herself. Go and spend time outside as much as possible. And that is it for today, guys. This is how to live a more ancestral life based on the first principles of human health and nutrition. It's not an all-encompassing list. There might be some things I missed out, but those are the really big ones that matter the most for making a healthy, functioning, optimal, happy, awesome, badass human being. Right? So if you neglect any of those, you're going to pay a price one way or the other. I hope this was useful. Like, subscribe, do all the things. Drop a comment below for some tips that you have for these different subtopics. And let's get to it. Let's live better, and let's get our families to live better, and let's pass along that legacy to the next generation. Thanks for watching. My name is Colin Stuckard, and I approve this message.